Hey guys, it's Tombox here. Welcome to MST.TV. It's been a while since I've done a ruling video because all of a sudden everyone's Yu-Gi-Oh literate and everyone's reading their cards.
Sick joke, Tom.
Anyways, let's get serious here. We're here to address some of the things you guys have requested the most, which is the hand verification policy update in policy 2.0 of Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments. So, what is it? Well, if you guys don't know what it is, please go read it. If you're still living under a rock and have not checked that out, the update honestly hasn't done very much, but lots of jokes and memes have come about because of the Mind Crush example. They're like, oh, if you call Mind Crush and the guy does not have it, well, they don't have to reveal anything to you. They just have to tell you they don't have it. And everyone just jumps to conclusion and blows it out of proportion to the point that it's completely out of context. So there's lots of rumors floating about, and I am here to debunk it. You know, everything's fun and games until someone takes it seriously. Ugh. Well, no taking up the fun of everything, but anyways, that's what I'm here for. Coming up, I will be addressing specific cards that you guys have been voicing concerns for, your proper course of action, and potential penalties that you may suffer if you do not follow the proper course of action. Sound fair, guys? Okay, well, before I get into this video, I just want to give a huge shout out to you Patreons out there, and also, I have started a DLIVE.TV account. It's DLIVE.TV/Tombox. If you guys want to support me and maybe see me live stream on there in the near future, go hit that follow button right there. It would really just mean a lot to me if you guys did that. You know, just a little plug in there, just throwing it in there, and let's start things off now. Card number 1, Exodia. Whoa, I don't know why I'm talking about this one. It feels like I'm just debunking the joke here. Oh, well, no fun, Tom. So if you have Exodia, yeah, you have to verify it with you and your opponent, so that's the proper course of action. But if you don't do it, the penalties are kind of interesting. The first penalty that you're more likely to get would be a slow play warning for wasting time. You prevented the game state from progressing, and therefore you're wasting time. Can you imagine losing to time because someone joked that they had Exodia? Yeah, it sucks for both you and your opponent, I guess. The second potential penalty is if you're actually going hard into this joke and you shuffle your hand back into your deck saying you took game 1 because you had Exodia. By not revealing that you had Exodia, you will likely get a game loss, even if you did really have Exodia. So just reveal it. But potentially the third penalty is of course the harshest one, which is an unsporting conduct cheating. And if you're at a YCS, judges don't want to deal with that crap you might be set an example of because of that, and you'll just get DQ'd and be like, that would be the end of you. Seems like Exodia has obliterated you instead. So yeah, that's Exodia. But let's go on to some of the more commonly asked ones as well. Seems like that one was a bit of a joke. Card number 2, we have Ordeal of the Traveler. Now, card text states right here, I'm just looking at it. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, your opponent chooses one random card in your hand and calls the card the type of the card, monster, spells, and traps, and if they call it wrong, return the attacking monster to the hand. Can your opponent go, hey, you called it wrong, I only have one card in my hand. Oh my god, you called it wrong 3 times in a row. You've basically called monster, spells, and traps, and you're still wrong. Oh, what's wrong with you? Well, they can't do that because the proper course of action is to verify the card. And I want to point out specific card text to kind of give you a bit of precedent to this. So first of all, your opponent chooses or selects one random card in your hand. So there has been a specific card selected. That's part 1. Second thing is they need to identify whether or not a specific detail on the card is matching what they need to do on the resolution of a card. So if they call a card type, they need to know if it's right or wrong so they can take the proper course of action. Now, calling something right or wrong is not the same as asking if you have a card. Because asking if you have a card, well, that's, well, private knowledge. But to confirm whether or not something is correct or not, well, that requires the verification. And that's kind of where I draw the line right there. So you do have to verify. And if you don't agree with me, this has been talked about on some of the Facebook posts already, and the judge specialist has already addressed this already. So here's the post. You guys can look it up. It's on Facebook already. You can check it on Zodiac Duelist. And what happens if you don't, you know, show your opponent and you're just like, oh, you're wrong, and your opponent calls judge on you? Well, the easy getaway case would be you get a procedural error minor, and you'll just rectify the case. You might even get called out on slow play because you're wasting time, and you will basically just show them the card anyway. So, and only one side will get penalized on this. Or worst case, they'll be like, you're wasting time, you're cheating, you're burning down the clock, and well, you could face more severe penalties based on that. So It's up to you whether or not you want to follow the rules. Well, follow the rules if you're going to any event. But yeah, Ordeal of the Traveler, Ominous Fortune Telling. If it selects a card and you have to declare whether or not it's correct, and they need to get a legal resolution on their card, then you have to show the card. Card number 3, or cards number 3, we have Gladiator's Respite and Moray of Greed. Now, both of these cards, they put cards back into the deck to draw more cards. So for Gladiator Beast's Respite, you put back 2 Gladiator Beast monsters, and then you shuffle your deck and you draw 3 cards. Moray of Greed, put 2 water monsters back, put it back into the deck, and draw 3 cards. Now, all these cards are not technically public knowledge. However, you need to verify with your opponent because you want to prevent yourself from entering an irreparable game state due to lack of verification. Because when you want to resolve a card like that, if you're moving a card from one private knowledge space to another private knowledge space, and there are specific card requirements, if it doesn't just say move this card back into the deck and then draw a new card, it says put this water monster or put this Gladiator Beast monster back into the deck to draw cards, then you will have to verify with your opponent so your opponent can confirm these things. It's not like they're looking at your hand. They get to confirm this so that you're shuffling it back in to draw these cards. So you can't just be like, oh, I have 2 Gamacials in my deck. Oh, if the judge ever checks me, it's fine. No. You will have to reveal. And if you don't, you'll be, well, at best, I guess like the least penalty that you would get, you would probably get a procedural error major, which is a game loss, which is caused by irreparable game states. Or if this continues, then you will probably get DQ'd, and it's pretty severe actually. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty easy course of action. And number 4, reinforcements. Seriously, reinforcement of the army. I guess this was a kind of a troll post, but just read the first line of the policy right there. I'm just gonna put it up for you. Everything except for a search. If you're searching a card out of your deck, you have to reveal it anyway. So, I don't know, that feels like a troll post. And the last card group, we have Lullaby of Obedience, and also we're going to categorize this with the Abyssal Designator and Mind Crush. Of course, with Mind Crush being in here, these are the cards that you do not have to reveal anything to your opponent because they're asking you for information based off of a declaration. So Abyssal Designator, I'm going to start with this one because it's a lot easier. Pay 1,000 life points, declare a card type and attribute. Your opponent must send 1 monster with both the declared type and attribute from their hand or graveyard. So they have to send a monster to the hand, or like basically just send it to the graveyard. This seems a lot easier for the most part, I would say, because this one you get to basically maintain the game state a lot easier. If they did have it and they've cheated, the punishment obviously is disqualification because they have lied, and lying is unsporting conduct, cheating, and therefore it's disqualification, potentially even getting suspended. And since this one affects both the hand and deck, it is so much easier to confirm. But again, this one is declaring a type and attribute. It does not even declare a card name, but simply just by declaring something and affecting something in a private knowledge area, there is no way that you get to confirm unless, and I'll talk about the unless situations after. But what about Lullaby of Obedience? Well, for Lullaby of Obedience, it states that you pay 2,000 life points and you declare a card name. Again, your opponent looks at their deck. They can't just go, I don't have it. If they go like they don't have it, they're not even resolving the card. They have to look at their deck, reveal the declared monsters if there is any, and choose one of these effects to be applied. But then if they don't have it, they don't reveal. And if they don't reveal, they don't have to do anything. That's it. That's the end of the card effect. Oh, this card sucks. What if he's just lying? Well, you need evidence to support that they are lying. But let's just go over potential things that I think are worthy of calling a judge if you really think they don't have it. Because potentially, if you're just asking for like an Ash Blossom Joyous Spring, they actually might not have it because they're playing like Thunder Guard Dragon. They don't play any hand traps whatsoever. So how does that even work? So what verifies for a check from the judge? Well, if your opponent has played a copy of the card previously in this game and it's not limited, so there is more. If a card was previously searched from the deck to the hand and you know about this, that is also, I guess, grounds for potentially calling a judge. And if a card was played previously in a previous game, but in a different game of the match, is it worth calling? That's kind of a gray area, because what if they sided it out? but I think it's still within the realms of searching personally. I could be completely wrong. A judge can correct me on this depending on the event, mainly because it's still within the deck list. You know that it is potentially still within the deck list, and therefore it's give or take. I need an update on that one myself. So what happens if it's a bad call? They actually don't have it. It's likely that you're going to get a time extension on your match. But if it's a good call, it's quite simply a DQ because your opponent's straight up just cheating. Unsporting conduct cheating is a very severe offense, and judges take that very seriously. And if they're trying to get away with cheating like that, it's unfortunate. So, especially with Lullaby of Obedience, where it tells you to look at your deck, if you're looking at your deck, you gotta go through it. And Suspicion, you might get off the hook a little bit if you just overlooked a certain card and you just didn't remember something's attribute. But if it's a card that's super common, good luck arguing with that. A DQ is very much warranted, I think. That's just my opinion. And of course, if I ever judge any event, I will go and confirm with the head judge and just improve my knowledge from there. But yeah, Lullaby of Obedience and Abyssal Designator, both of these are just declare a card and specifically affecting an area which is private knowledge. In those cases, you don't get the verification. So in summary, verifying a card and revealing a card, they are very similar actions. You just show a card to your opponent. However, verifying a card is usually required for game state maintenance, for resolving card effects properly, and making sure that both players are on the same page. Whereas the other one, revealing a card, that is part of a card effect, and there's a difference there. Might be a slight difference, but a lot of it has to do with maintaining game state. Overall, nothing has really changed. The whole point is just be honest. So to run it down really quickly, part one, of course, if it's a winning condition, verify it. Don't waste the judge's time on this crap. And part two, if you have selected a card in your opponent's hand and the resolution requires a knowledge of what that card is, you will have to verify it with your opponent, both players, so that you take the proper course of resolution. That is a selected card in your opponent's hand, and they need to know whether or not they have called it right or wrong. The third type would be if you have to shuffle cards in from your hand back into the deck. In that case, if you're trying to resolve an effect to potentially draw cards, if it doesn't state any of the card types, attributes, or any specific card detail, then you don't have to reveal the card you put back. However, if it states that you have to put in a spell card, you have to put in a trap card, you have to put in a card with a specific name, a card with a specific level, attribute, anything that requires a specific card detail to go back into the deck to resolve another card effect, you will have to reveal those cards. So that goes for the Moray of Grade and all that stuff like that. And finally, the ones that you do not get to, well, check your opponent for would be the ones that all they do is declare a monster card name or declare a monster card type or attribute. Just a straight up declaration that affects some of the things in your private knowledge area, such as your hand or deck. Those ones you do not get to verify. They just have to be honest with you. And if there's grounds for suspicion of cheating, then you can call a judge. That's it. Hopefully you guys learned something. Overall, if you think about it, nothing's really changed that much. I don't know why I need to actually waste my time talking about it, but this gives you the clarification. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And hopefully the cheaters, they get DQ'd and get rid of them out of our community. But for everyone that's being honest, hopefully you guys are rewarded with well, a much better game experience. And that is all I got for this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit me with a thumbs up. Hopefully I clarified some of these explanations, and it's really easy to kind of categorize it because, you know, text wording and the problem solving card text have been making it a lot easier. Go learn it if you haven't. If you guys want to see more stuff from MST.TV, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I guess I will see you guys at Seattle. I guess I'm going down to the regionals now, so see you guys there. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please drop us a like so we know we are doing a good job, and you can also subscribe to MST.TV for more fantastic videos by clicking on the button on the left. Don't forget to check out our partners at Imperium Duelist. They make really high quality mats, including some of my own limited edition release stuff. And if you want to check out one of our past videos, click here on the right. As always, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV, and I'll see you next time.